Well, ladies and gentlemen, at the time I'm recording this, we're just a few days away from Halloween, and I can tell you for sure that scariness is already in the air. It's officially spooky season around these parts. The sky is gray and all the leaves are dead. Pumpkins are on porches, candy and costumes are in the storefronts, Christmas carols are playing on the radio despite the fact it's October. It's just spooky season all around, and I absolutely love it. Halloween is probably one of my favorite holidays, if not my absolute favorite holiday of the year. Usually the way this family celebrates Halloween is we look at the listings on movie theaters and we look through streaming services and DVD collections and Blu-ray collections that the both of us have accumulated over the years before we met and eventually merged together when we got married. We look through all that stuff to find the hot new horror phenomenon. Not this year, though. Apparently this year we decided to show up a whole month late to Midnight Mass. I mean, better late than never, right? Right? I admit, Midnight Mass was going to be one of those things I was going to review when I got back from vacation and I actually watched it, but I never got around to it, what with NaNoWriMo on the horizon, so consider this me cashing in one of my late to the party credits, but that being said, this is a party that I'm glad to have joined even if I'm late to the party, because this show is fucking scary, yo. I remember looking on Twitter and I saw Stephen King gave it 2 thumbs up, and, you know, that makes perfect sense. A, it genuinely looks like something Stephen King would write. B, well, I mean, I don't think you have to be the biggest Stephen King fanboy in the universe to be blatantly aware of Stephen King's massive hate boner for Christianity, but all the same, yeah, I could totally see that. The story of Midnight Mass is set on this island off along, like, the northeastern coast where, like, a lot of fishermen live, and it's set around a Catholic church where a lot of day-to-day life just sort of takes place, and I know this sounds like the premise of Father Ted, but trust me, it gets a lot scarier and a lot less hilarious. Paul is the new priest who takes over after a very old priest decides to cash in his vacation time and basically spends his twilight years taking a grand tour of the world. But this priest does not appear to be everything that he seems to be, nor does the clergy. Chaos ensues. I will say one thing for Midnight Mass, it is a very talkative show. Conversations go on and on and on. And you know, it never really feels like the conversations are unwarranted. Like, I feel like these are conversations people would actually be having, whether it be kind of checking out all the dead cats that showed up on the coast, or whether it be like all the missing people that kind of just went missing all of a sudden, and just, yeah, I mean, it's talkative as all hell, but it's not like unbelievably so. You can tell by watching this show from start to finish that maybe like a good 75% of the budget went towards the final scene and the final episode and all the chaos that ensues in the final episode, and maybe a good portion of the remaining 25% went towards the winged figure that frequently pops up in the show. I feel like I shouldn't spoil things, but at the same time, you've had a month to watch it. You're probably light years ahead of me. You already know the twist, but whatever. It's surprisingly minimalist in a lot of ways. Like, yeah, in the last episode, there's where all the fire and explosions and all that begins, but like the first 5 or 6 episodes are pretty subdued for the most part. Like, there's not a whole lot of music in the background, there's not a whole lot of like chaos and anarchy going on, there's not a whole lot going on. It feels slow, but not like insufferably so. It feels like the show is deliberately taking its time and building up an ambiance, just setting up this world just so it can tear it apart. I speak very positively of the show, but that's not to say that it's flawless. It does have a few issues that I feel like talking about here. Predominantly, I do kind of feel like the commentary that the show is making is a bit on the heavy-handed side. Maybe not to the point of Spatula Man running up and screaming, "Symbolism!" But I do feel like all the potential was there. And I suppose the nicest thing I can say at that point is, thank God it stopped before it got to Spatula Man, but I felt like it was kind of heading that direction at the same time. I suppose there's nothing particularly wrong with heavy-handed symbolism. I mean, let's be honest, some people aren't as clever as others and can't pick up on subtlety, but at the same time, You know, there's symbolism and then there's being slapped in the face. And this show does not slap you in the face. I felt like it was winding up a couple times, but it never actually slapped me in the face, I felt like. Besides that one little detail, though, the show actually is really good, and I highly recommend you check it out. I give it 3 hats out of 4.